What's up everyone, Ryan and Jackie here. Today we are at Universal Studios Hollywood in California. We have a great day planned for you. Today we're going to meet up with a VIP tour guide. He's going to take us backstage, go to the sound stage. There's going to be an actual real working set list. We can't wait.
So excited.
Yeah, we can't wait. We're going to check out the park. I haven't been here in a very long time. Jackie's first time coming over here.
Yes.
We can't wait to show you guys and bring you guys along.
Yes, we are so excited. Universal was so generous to host us today for this whole event.
Amazing experience.
Amazing experience. We are so excited. So come along.
Hey, I'm Chris. I'll be your tour guide today for our VIP experience. Welcome to Universal Studios Hollywood.
I'm so excited. Are you ready to go? Let's go.
All right, well, let's hand out our VIP lanyards, our credentials to get you through the day.
Yay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Follow me.
All right, let's go.
So we are here at the VIP lounge, right?
That's right, Jackie. So why don't we come inside where you get to see a few props, a little bit of movie memorabilia, light refreshments before we start our day.
Awesome.
Great, welcome, come on in.
All right, everyone, so we are about ready to head off to the studio tour. This is the first stop on our VIP tour, so we are very excited. We wanted to start the day off with a little bit more of an exciting start, right?
Absolutely. Chris is going to take us over there, and we're going to take you along too. All right, Chris, so where are we right now?
So behind us is just a portion of Universal's backlot. We are by far the largest movie studio. As a result, we're not just a production facility, we're a rental facility. So our neighbors in the background, Walt Disney Studios and Warner Brothers, we're happy when they do well because they'll come here and work on their movie and television projects as well. This is the area that we're going to explore next. Our Metropolitan Streets, that can be Seattle, Los Angeles, New York, London. We can change the time period as well. It's clever set design and decoration. We hope you don't recognize it. Generally, no one does. We'll use the same sets over and over again. Down below are sets from Spider-Man, Batman, Captain America, Austin Powers, Back to the Future classics like Psycho. We have also our horror sets that date all the way back to about 1919, where Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Phantom of the Opera, The Invisible Man were shot. Sets from those films are still here today, and they're still used over and over. So those are some of the things that we'll explore right above them. These are just a few examples of some of the more than 10,000 films we've been involved in over the years. Universal is the biggest and busiest movie studio, and the only movie studio and theme park combination as well. This massive stage was constructed in 1929. Dracula with Bela Lugosi filmed in that building. Now, if you're looking over your shoulder right now, the artwork will let you know what has filmed there almost a decade now, The Voice. These streets can be Los Angeles, Seattle, London, Frankfurt, Tampa, doesn't matter. Set designer, decorator will get a hold of it, change the language on the sign, change the time period too. There are brownstones over here on the right that have been used as Chicago and the Blues Brothers. Chicago, 1936 for the Sting. Baltimore, about 1912 for Lady Sings the Blues. Bruce Almighty.
Inside bad, outside good.
Alright, so they've added cars and people and signs, and that area comes to life. Elvis Presley wrapped up his movie career on the street. Home Alone 2 down by 20th Century Fox. Christmas time, New York City, artificial snow everywhere. And it's not that they didn't film in New York as well, but when you're throwing all kinds of things down on the street, better to do it in a controlled environment. And by the way, I'm just scratching the surface in terms of what it's filmed in. But what it's most familiar from? Back to the Future. This is Hill Valley from Back to the Future. The road we're on right now, Marty would have to go 88 miles per hour to go back to the future. The courthouse over on the right-hand side has had some changes over the years. Paramount shot a TV series with Jennifer Love Hewitt called Ghost Whisperer. They didn't want everybody recognizing this area, so they covered up the columns Now take a look at the monitors right above your head.
So we are here walking around on the set.
Yes, at a real
And-
live active set. Oh, it's not in production right now, but we're on the set.
Yes, we have our trolley behind us that's taking us around. We got to see some offices, we got to see some other sets, and they let us come off here. We could take our mask off and walk around a little bit.
Backlot, we're allowed to have our mask off over here on the VIP tour. Now, also too, the set that we're currently on, there have been so many movies that have been filmed right
Yes.
here where we're standing, different promos that have been going on, so many
Back to the
different...
Future was filmed here.
Absolutely, and it's crazy too because our VIP tour guide is giving us all the history. They're showing us clips from different scenes of the movie
On the
where we're
trolley, it's
able to
amazing.
see, the reference points of this is what happened over here, how they had to dig lakes out, they had to go and pave, just so many different crazy things that one would never know if you
Awesome.
weren't actually over here
Yeah.
on this.
The history is amazing, and hearing it all is so wonderful. We have such a great VIP tour guide.
Yes,
They are
absolutely.
treating us like royalty.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait to see more.
Yeah, let's spin around here for a sec. And let's just show. This has been used in so many movies for things that you would absolutely recognize. One of the probably the biggest ones is Back to the Future right here. To Kill a Mockingbird was actually one of the first, or it was the first that was over here. It's just amazing to see all these different movies that have been used for this over here. Let's take you guys along more.
So now there's a facade over the facade. Remember the columns I spoke about from Back to the Future? There's the original front. So they were able to completely change the look of it just by putting a facade over the facade. Now when Paramount was done with the project, it was their responsibility to clean it up, but since we'll get more use out of it now that it's not familiar,
Right.
we left it up.
It's cool.
All right, welcome to New York Street. Our metropolitan area is one of the most utilized areas on the lot. If we, again, scratch the surface in terms of its resume, this has been Gotham City in some of the Batman films, New York in many of the Spider-Man movies. It's been Los Angeles in movies like Earthquake, and also Transformers done by Paramount. They actually destroyed many of these buildings or damaged them, which meant that they had to be rebuilt back to their same specifications. Follow me, I'll take you down through the street where we have buildings placed in the center to make it look as though the city goes on forever. If you look at the other end of the street, you'll find the exact same thing. The buildings, through computer animation, they used to use another process years ago, but with a computer, you can take place just about anywhere in the world. You can change countries by lettering on the signs. What, again, appears to be large chunks of stone, take a look at this. Fiberglass, plastic, and wood.
So cool. You never know,
Right. Many of the buildings are facades, fronts and sides. The exceptions to that would be a few practical sets, which you can set up camera and lighting equipment inside of these buildings. Sound may become an issue. You'll have to dampen the sound by padding the walls and the ceilings. But for realism, sometimes you'll want to see your actors walk in and out, all within one shot.
Okay, so we are here. We took our trolley and now we're at another set location. And because we're on the VIP experience, we get to actually get out, walk around,
Right.
and we get a lot more information that you don't get on the
And you
regular
get to,
tour.
and you get to ask questions.
Ask so many questions.
Chris is so knowledgeable towards different productions of what's going on, different movies of the scenes of what happened during the times. This street right over here that we're on could be New York. It was London. Austin Powers was filmed right behind us. Captain America.
Yes.
Gotham. They were explaining
Agent
how
Carter.
the asphalt over here, how it was glazed over to make it look like ice. How
amazing.
just so many different things. Also it's not just Universal that uses these sets. They have production studios that will come over as partners to come in, use space, rent space out. But so many movies have been here. So many different things. Just
So many actors and so much amazing talent.
Standing right here where we are. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so
amazing
so
talent
cool.
has passed through these streets, and we are so lucky to be a part of that now.
Absolutely. So
So-
let's keep going on here. We're gonna go check out some more sets.
You're looking at an empty plastic shell. All right, so let's introduce first from the reboot version of Knight Rider, that is Kit. Right next to that is a Ferrari from Magnum PI, the TV series that starred Tom Selleck. Now, that's not a real Ferrari, however, but it was used in the series. Real Ferraris were used for close-up. This is one of the stunt vehicles, which utilizes a Volkswagen engine for its propulsion, and uses stunt seats, roll bars, and a fiberglass shell. Here we come with Biff's car from Back to the Future and Back to the Future Part 2. And in Part 2, which was shot in the late 1980s, much of it, the beginning of that film, took place in the year 2015, so nearly 30 years into the future. These are the flying cars from 2015. And since we speak about the future, let's talk about the past. The Stone Age, the Flintstones. There's Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble's vehicle. Now, in the first Flintstones movie, Fred's boss, Mr. Slate, gives him a raise, promotion, a bonus, his first purchase, that sports car. And the most successful franchise in the history of Universal Pictures, Fast and the Furious. Some of the modified vehicles from that series on your left. And there's always Jurassic Park fans on the vehicles with us. Here we have the Mercedes M-Class from the Lost World, the Gyrosphere from Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom. Now, one thing missing from the Gyrosphere, the glass. It was never there. Always computer animated. You don't want to see the reflection of the camera crew or the operator. And the retro Jeep from Jurassic World. I mentioned earlier on the Metropolitan Streets that Paramount had worked on much of Transformers there from Los Angeles. They left behind a few vehicles, including one that looks like a tank that's actually a replica of a Bradley fighting vehicle. One that you would not want to take into combat, though. This one's mostly made of plywood. And upon closer inspection, you can see where part of that's on the way. We have sprinklers that are hidden in the trees, the buildings, and the power plant. And we can spray water upward and watch it fall down naturally on scene. So we're going to demonstrate our weather effects initially with thunder and lightning. Now, as the crew, we want to stay dry, but again, the director will want to keep cool. When we see rain, when that happens, it's action rain. This amount of water is what it takes to show up on the screen. This is also why the actors are drenched when you're watching a scene that takes place in the rain. Now, in a different section of Mexico, like we have here on the lot, you get this kind of rain and it rains often, hundreds of times during the day. Flash flooding is bound to occur. So if you watch the top of that hill, action flood, you're about to be right in the middle of it. Our Mexican village has been around for quite some time. Initially built around 1916, so a lot of time in this area. I'll give you some of the more modern classics. Three Amigos, Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Chevy Chase. Nacho Libre with Jack Black. This was Mexico. Doesn't have to be Mexican. It was used as Peru in the fourth Indiana Jones film. It was also utilized as China in the movie Hawk. And they didn't even change the Mexican architecture. Just Mandarin writing outside of the walls, Chinese lanterns, dirt on the road, your small village in China. Of course, Mexico would be right next to Texas, 6 Points, Texas, the oldest spot at Universal. This area's been around since 1914. Now, although our studio got it started in 1912, this land was purchased in 1914. And used initially for Western, that's what it's built for. This can be a modern town as well. Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, nearly a third of that film takes place right here. Some fantastic scenes on that porch with Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's say we have to go back to the Old West, truckloads of sand and gravel dumped all over the road, tie a few horses up to the post, you're back in the 1800s. Saving Mr. Banks with Tom Hanks, the making of Mary Poppins. This is Australia 1906. Colin Farrell was right in the bench just on the street. Here we have different sizes of doors. Small doors, men can walk through, they can look bigger, brawnier than the little one. Some of the larger doors, women can walk through, look a little smaller, a little more pictures, and they may fit. Everything is cowboy and cowgirl you could ever think of.
So welcome to Little Europe. For Universal's history, this is about as important as it gets. Some of the buildings go back to about 1919, a film called The Miracle Man. All of our horror classics, at least portionally, were shot right here. The Wolfman, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Phantom of the Opera, Dracula, The Invisible Man. All of the monsters get chased through these streets by the villagers with torches. Now, still use this area today. For decades, Disney had used it for Pirates of the Caribbean as Tortuga and Port Royal. Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement. This is Genovia. There was a version of Cinderella with Brandy and Whitney Houston. This is the fictitious village and town from that as well. More recently, The Good Place. Ted Danson and Kristen Bell. You're in The Good Place. Should we go up?
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so where are we?
We are standing on yet another amazing set. My
Which
favorite show, The Good Place. I love Kristen Bell. I love Ted Danson. One of my all-time favorite shows. And we're sitting here walking around on the set. It's so amazing. So many other things were shot here. Like,
Yeah. You're just talking about the Muppets.
Yep,
Yeah,
I was just
Muppets right
mentioning the
behind
Muppets.
us over here with eating with the Eiffel Tower in the
Pirates of
background.
the Caribbean.
Yeah.
It's so crazy and so cool to hear like how just like a few small changes.
Let's walk up here. A tram's coming through, so hold on one second. We'll be right back.
So as you were saying, like it's so amazing to see how just a few small changes, a few tweaks here and there,
Right,
makes
right.
the space so universal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, to fit with the name, right? But it's, I mean, just look, like we're sitting over here, you would never know, like just on the other side over there, building a new soundstage to accommodate Super Mario or Super Nintendo World.
Yes.
I mean, it's just so amazing how much stuff they can do in the back lot over here and how much stuff is actually coming through. It's just awesome.
It's absolutely amazing. So let's keep going along.
Sounds good.
We'll turn, and then Johnny Depp waits in that alcove right there. So for The Good Place, they were like ye old yogurt shop, things like that. They sort of kept the same theme.
Yeah, there was like 15 million yogurt shops.
Yes.
Passing over on the right-hand side. You know, if you're a horror fan, Rob Zombie used this in House of a Thousand Corpses, but let's go back before that, when it was built for a musical that starred Burt Reynolds and Dolly Parton, the best little whorehouse in Texas. Over on your left-hand side, the opening of our Colonial Street, which for 8 seasons was Wisteria Lane on Desperate Housewives. And so many people lived on that street. Andy Griffith lived there, Vincent Price. The movie The Burbs with Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher, Deep Impact, Casper filmed there. Ronald Reagan, Doris Day, James Garner, Rock Hudson, all lived in those houses over the years. Commercials, music videos, you name it. On the screen above your head, here is Colonial Street in action. Ironically, they're parked right behind what is probably the scariest and most notorious hotel in movie history. Also one of my favorite spots on the lot. From Hitchcock's masterpiece Psycho, You're about to look at the base motel and the house where Norman and his mother reside. Sets that have not changed in more than 60 years. The house at the top looks pretty sizable. Now as we get closer, you're going to see that it's a little smaller than you thought. Built on a 3/4 scale. It's called forced perspective. It would make the house look farther away and larger on the screen. It would also make Norman Bates, played by Anthony Perkins at the time, look large and scary. Now the motel basically is just a facade or a shell. There are a couple of rooms, the office, the parlor, and room number 1. Those films are, those rooms are practical sets, and you're able to film inside of them.
In the movie, you know, they'll park the cars here, they'll angle them this way.
Right.
When they shot it, you didn't have a lot of room over here like we do now.
Right.
And also, he was using his TV crew, so they had to shoot it at a lower budget. And so a lot of times you see them stop when they get out to the motel, and they slide over the bench seat and they get out this time. You never really know why, but
right.
Hitchcock did it to save time. So basically, he would get the shot here, they would stop, and in the same exact shot without cutting, he would, so it would be one steady shot.
Right.
They'd have them just slide on over. But in the movie, you're just like, why is everybody always sliding
Right,
over?
that's
It was
the reason
literally,
why.
so it was less setup, and just one quick shot from parking to getting out and moving up into the motel.
Amazing.
On your left-hand side, the airplane crash site from Paramount and Steven Spielberg's War of the World. War of the World starred Tom Cruise. That is a real 747. It's never crashed. This was from an airplane graveyard in the desert. Purchase price is around $60,000. At that point, you're just buying scrap metal. The real cost was getting it here, nearly $250,000 on flatbed truck. Now when they brought the pieces here and they moved them into the position that would look more compelling on the screen, it was Paramount's responsibility to clean all of this up when they were done. We asked them to leave it here, and we utilized it for other projects. We also use it for our Halloween Horror Nights event, where I get to walk you through here with zombies from Walking Dead chasing you, or Freddy, or Jason, or Michael Myers. This past year, members from The Purge. So I know you want to get up close and personal to this one. So let's take a little walk.
So we are here at the War of the World set. Look how amazing all of this is. You are right here in the middle of the set, and we get to go around and walk it while the regular tours just drive right by. We are here experiencing it firsthand. We're able to just see everything. I mean, you can touch it, you can feel it, you can be in the moment in the set.
So, I mean, like Chris was saying before, this is a real 747 over here. Everything, it's funny because this picture was originally for another film studio, and they were getting ready to clean it up, and they wanted to leave it here, which is just, I mean, it's so cool. You just will take a spin around here and just look. I mean,
how amazing.
It's complete wreckage. It's complete, I mean, it's cool. And
you have to experience it for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are no amount of words to express how amazing this experience really is.
Absolutely.
So I mentioned over 100 years of movie making history right here. Down below on your right hand side, and there's always more to see. And each and every time you take a tour, there's always something new to see, and we have different access to the movie studio as well. Depending upon production, how much and where it is, the Backlot tour can always be different. And particularly on the VIP tour, when you have the incredible access to the movie studio like we did today, we get you up close and personal to those sets. So it's our pleasure, and thank you so much for joining myself, Chris, and also Mike on the exclusive behind-the-scenes look at Universal Studios Hollywood. Now we have lots more to show you because we're about to embark into the onto the theme park.